The founder's enigma, from clone to empire. Imagine a cramped room in a bustling, noisy neighborhood, street vendors hawking electronic parts outside. In the center sits a quiet young programmer at his computer, Pony Ma. No spotlight follows him. His ambitions live in lines of code. Yet here lies the seed of something colossal. He discovers ICQ, the pioneering Western chat service, and a spark ignites. What if we built something like this for our market? Thus emerges OICQ, a deliberate copy but tailored for slower internet speeds and local habits. The name? Merely an added O, yet fraught with peril. Minimal resources, expensive servers, and a looming lawsuit for intellectual property infringement. Within months, OICQ reaches 1 million users. Then arrives the envelope from AOL, a legal threat that could sink the venture. In that crisis, Pony Ma renames the service QQ, escaping the lawsuit yet facing the challenge of monetizing a beloved chat platform. Narration should evoke tension, late-night coding sessions, Pony logging into empty chat rooms, changing his avatar to pretend he's a different user just to animate conversations. He grapples with how to pay for surging server costs when revenue is zero, yet he dares approach investors with brutal honesty. If you fund us, we might still fail. We don't yet know how to make money, but millions love our chat. This rare candor convinces IDG Capital. An investment of $2.2 million arrives just as the dot-com bubble bursts. That lifeline propels QQ forward. Use dramatic pauses. He knew on one side lay oblivion, no chat, no company. On the other, a potential empire hidden in these text bubbles. But could a humble clone truly grow into something unprecedented? Paint the scene of tense meetings in a tiny office, dreams nearly crushed by legal and financial peril. Emphasize the emotional arc, from isolation and fear to cautious hope when funding is secured. Conclude with a rhetorical hook. From a eBay precarious copy to a platform reaching millions, Pony Ma's journey had only begun, and the world was unaware how vast this path would become.
David versus Goliath, defeating Microsoft in China. Now shift to the showdown. Microsoft's MSN targets the Chinese market with its branded chat service. Picture sleek corporate offices, global resources at Microsoft's command. Opposite stands Tencent, lean teams writing code in cramped spaces, making decisions in hours that a giant bureaucracy would take months to approve. They deploy local servers for faster connections. They add offline messaging faster than MSN's global hierarchy can respond. Narration evokes a cinematic conflict. A scrappy startup armed with agility and local insight versus a corporate behemoth weighed down by procedure. Who will prevail? Highlight moments when Tencent rolls out a feature overnight that MSN's Chinese division had suggested months earlier but got stuck in red tape abroad. Emphasize the speed of feedback loops. User reactions flood in. Bugs are fixed the same. Day while MSN's chain of command slows every iteration. Conjure the atmosphere of tension. Tencent engineers working long nights, fueled by urgency and belief. Microsoft executives deliberating in far-off headquarters, unaware of the nimble competitor rising beneath their radar. Build suspense. Could the little chat service that once started as a risky clone really overcome one of the world's largest software companies? Then deliver the climax. QQ defeats MSN in China, surpassing 500 million users by late 2005. This victory is more than technical. It's psychological proof that agility beats budget when understanding the local pulse. End with a question. Having toppled a titan, Tencent now held both users and confidence, yet the path ahead would demand even greater ambition and risk.
Unbridled expansion, from games to infinite ecosystem. After conquering chat, Tencent's leaders ask, what else can QQ become? A gateway beyond conversation into entertainment and commerce. Enter the gaming world. License foreign titles for distribution in China. Adapt them. Promote via QQ's massive user base. When microtransactions emerge, tiny purchases of virtual items, they multiply revenue enormously as millions partake. Tencent pioneers avatar-driven sales, cosmetic items bought for cents but generating huge sums at scale. Describe the internal culture. Intense 996 workdays, teams competing in a shark gestation environment where only the fittest ideas survive. Every employee is expected to spot market trends, copy successful features, and integrate them into QQ's expanding universe. Illustrate the battle with Qihoo. Tencent clones a popular antivirus, bundles it with QQ, then forces users to choose: keep QQ or use the rival's security software. Users surrender to QQ's grip. Tencent solidifies dominance, though public opinion wavers between awe and unease at such ruthless tactics. Use a metaphor. Envision a digital hydra. Each head represents a new service: games, security, social features, yet all remain connected to the central body, QQ. Show the staggering growth. Revenue leaps from mere millions to billions as QQ's influence permeates everyday life. Convey suspense. Tencent seemed unstoppable. Was there a limit to how far this sprawling empire could reach? And highlight moral tension. Innovators celebrated success, but critics warned of monopolistic overreach. In the race to build everything, what price would society pay? Close with a bridge. As Tencent's tentacles spread into gaming, social tools, and beyond, its power grew. But so did scrutiny. Next, a new frontier beckoned: the mobile era and the birth of an application that would redefine convenience and control.
WeChat, the all-encompassing super appy. Imagine a world where a single tap unlocks every facet of daily life. Picture commuters on crowded subway cars, citizens in bustling markets, families at dinner tables, all interacting through one seamless portal on their phones. This world is China after WeChat's rise, a transformative leap from desktop chat to mobile lifeline. The story begins in 2010. Tencent senses the seismic shift. Smartphones proliferate, and desktop dominance wanes. Pony Ma, wary of missing the mobile wave, orders internal tribal contests. Multiple teams race in secret to craft a mobile messenger worthy of Tencent's heritage. It's a shark gestation crucible. Only the strongest concept will survive. This brutal internal rivalry, where ideas cannibalize one another until one emerges victorious, sets the tone. Innovation born of fierce competition. In early 2011, WeChat, Weixin domestically, launches. At first, adoption is modest, but Tencent quickly integrates push-to-talk voice notes, record a message, auto-convert to text or send voice, catering to users who prefer quick, real-time exchanges. Though borrowed from earlier apps, Tencent's execution is swift and intuitive and adoption surges. Yet this is only the opening move. Narration evokes a montage, developers huddled around screens, iterating features overnight, product managers racing to refine UI, feedback loops compressing weeks of work into days. Each new function appears like a surprise reveal, moments for sharing images and posts, a social feed that binds friends, official accounts for publishers, and brands opening channels for content distribution, and public accounts for blogs and influencers, weaving a digital tapestry where ideas spread like wildfire. But the defining twist arrives during Lunar New Year: digital red envelopes. Traditionally, families hand out red packets of cash for luck. Tencent embeds this ritual in WeChat. Send a lucky money packet digitally. Suddenly, millions exchange festive greetings and cash via smartphones. The narrator's tone crescendos. In an instant, WeChat transcended mere chat. It became a bridge between tradition and technology, embedding itself in the cultural fabric. This success births WeChat Pay, enabling peer-to-peer transfers, bill payments, taxi rides, food delivery, and almost any transaction imaginable, all within one app. Now the suspense. With each added service, WeChat edges closer to omnipresence. Location sharing becomes routine. Meet friends, hail rides through integrated mini-programs, read news, shop online, play games, all without leaving. The app. Tencent engineers envision, why clutter devices with dozens of apps when everything lives under WeChat's roof? They build mini-programs, Lightweight sub-applications within WeChat, accessible instantly. Restaurant menus, ride-hailing, ticket booking, e-commerce shops, they all operate as mini-programs. Narrative paints a day in the life montage. Wake up, check messages, hail a ride, order breakfast, read articles, pay utility bills, shop, share photos, send money to relatives, book a movie, schedule appointments, all via WeChat. This seamless flow feels magical yet unsettling. Convenience and dependence entwined. The tone shifts, wonder mingles with caution. As WeChat's tentacles spread, every interaction, every payment, every conversation flows through Tencent's servers. Behind the convenience lies an immense trove of data: location, spending habits, social ties, preferences. A digital mirror of real life. The narrator pauses. And who holds that mirror? Tencent, and by extension, those who wield influence over Tencent. The audience senses an undercurrent, immense power concentrated in one corporate platform. WeChat's growth is meteoric. Hundreds of millions join within months. Where QQ thrived on desktops, WeChat now reigns on mobile. Tencent maintains a clean interface, minimal ads, valuing user retention over bombardment. Microtransactions and merchant fees generate revenue without alienating users. The voiceover emphasizes, when an app touches every corner of daily living, small fees accumulate into colossal earnings. Yet the final beats of Chapter 4 carry a question. How can something so indispensable also carry hidden costs? And if WeChat is the gateway to everything, what happens when that gateway is controlled by one entity with ties to powerful forces? This cliffhanger ushers in the deeper exploration of surveillance and censorship.
Surveillance and censorship, the dark underbelly. The glow of convenience can mask shadows. As WeChat entwines with routine, a silent observer watches every move. In China's tightly woven system, Tencent's alliance with authorities blurs boundaries between private enterprise and state oversight. This chapter delves into how a tool of connection becomes an instrument of control. Begin with a tense scene. A user composes a private message on WeChat, unaware that behind encrypted facades, algorithms and sensors scan content in real time. The narrator's voice lowers. Every word typed, every image shared, every group chat formed may be cataloged, not just for analytics, but for compliance. Lines between personal expression and political risk fade beneath surveillance. Cite anecdotal echoes. Group admins held responsible for subversive posts, deleted messages recoverable by authorities, whispers that, deleted, never truly vanish. Narration builds, a message mocking a local official, intended for a few. Friends triggers an abrupt disappearance of that user. Arrest or disappearance often follows. Vivid description. Families live in quiet dread, self-censoring conversations, lest a single phrase crosses an invisible red line. The narrator pauses. Convenience costs freedom. Each tap and scroll feeds into a system that monitors loyalty, flags dissent. WeChat Pay and location tracking feed national social credit mechanisms. Your repayment history, spending patterns, travel itineraries, social circles, all feed into a portrait of trustworthiness. One misstep. Criticism of certain events. Attendance at forbidden gatherings and your score falters. Services may be restricted, travel banned, loans denied. Cinematic tension. A citizen hesitant to send money to a friend abroad, fearing flags raised in algorithmic logs. Highlight internal processes. Tencent employs thousands of sensors, scanning public posts and private chats. Policies can shift overnight. New keywords banned, group discussions broken apart. The narrator emphasizes the human cost. Voices silenced, creativity stifled, even innocuous jokes interpreted as threats. In this ecosystem, users learn to stay within invisible confines. Yet Tencent's leaders justify compliance as legal necessity. To operate in China, we must follow regulations. Pony Ma's public stance, prioritize stability over free expression. Narration conveys ambiguity. Was Tencent a willing collaborator or cornered by state demands? Describe the genesis in Shenzhen's special zone. Initial freedom granted as long as companies serve national interests. Over time, the state's grip tightens, expecting greater alignment. Interweave suspense. As WeChat's grip strengthens, the same features that bond families also enable control. Location sharing tracks gatherings. Group chats that once fostered community now risk exposure. Moments that share festive joys also monitor moods. The population cedes privacy for seamless living. The narrator asks, can a society trade away personal freedoms for technological ease and never regret it? Conclude with a lingering unease. WeChat stands as marvel and menace. Its convenience masks surveillance, its ubiquity amplifies censorship. For users, the question remains, is life under constant watch worth the comfort of one-tap everything? Next, we explore how this model extends beyond borders and sparks global conflicts.
Global clashes, Tencent versus TikTok and beyond. From domestic dominion to global battlegrounds, Tencent's empire collides with external forces. The clash with ByteDance's TikTok epitomizes this. In this chapter, we examine attempts to replicate success, block rivals, and navigate geopolitical friction, open with a dramatic juxtaposition. Boardrooms in Shenzhen light up at news of TikTok's explosive growth abroad. Tencent engineers scramble to craft a TikTok-like feature within WeChat or a standalone short video app. The narrator's tone. In China, copying is standard. If you see success, replicate swiftly. But can imitation conquer originality overseas? Internal memos push for rapid deployment, yet users outside China already love TikTok's finely tuned algorithm that delivers addictive content tailored to preferences. WeChat's clone struggles to match this precision. Tencent leverages its platform, blocks TikTok links within WeChat, prohibits TikTok ads on Tencent properties. A montage, engineers deploying content filters, marketing teams pushing homegrown alternatives. But overseas audiences resist Me Too features lacking the novelty or algorithmic edge. The narrator asks, when giants clash, is brute force enough, or does innovation reign supreme? Parallel episodes. Blizzard banning pro-democracy comments in games partly owned by Tencent. NBA spats over Houston Rockets tweet supporting Hong Kong. US politicians denouncing WeChat as a security threat. Describe how Tencent's ties to Chinese state create global suspicion. Governments worry about data flow, censorship extending to diaspora users. The tone conveys tension. Social media, once a frontier of free exchange, becomes battleground for influence. Tencent's deep pockets buy stakes in Reddit, Discord, yet overt influence remains limited. Subtle pressures linger beneath the surface. Narration emphasizes the irony. Tencent invests discreetly abroad to diversify, yet faces mistrust due to its domestic role. How can a company lauded at home be viewed warily abroad? When convenience crosses into control, global audiences balk. Scenes of regulators investigating apps, potential bans looming, users anxious about privacy. Use rhetorical pause. In an interconnected world, can a platform built on one model export
The investment web, data-driven dominion. With domestic expansion leveling off and global app adoption constrained, Tencent pivots, become an investment juggernaut. This chapter unveils how Tencent leverages user data and capital to sculpt industries, forging an empire of stakes and synergies. Begin with a clandestine conference of the gods, where top executives map strategies. We control massive traffic and hold unmatched user insights. How do we convert that into influence? Beyond direct services? The plan: attract partners to build mini-programs in WeChat, gather metrics on usage, spending, engagement. Identify high performers early, then invest significant capital. Once stakes secured, promote these ventures within Tencent's ecosystem, amplifying their reach and ensuring returns. It becomes a self-reinforcing loop. Data, investment, promotion, more data, bigger returns. Narration evokes intrigue. Imagine watching countless mini-apps bloom inside WeChat each day. Algorithms track which thrive. A ride-sharing service, a commerce platform, a gaming studio. Tencent quietly buys shares in these winners, then steers traffic their way. Success almost guaranteed. Describe synergy. A ride-hailing app integrates WeChat Pay. Tencent takes transaction fees. Data refines marketing. Other investors follow suit. Tencent's advantage is unparalleled. No other firm sees such volume of user behavior in near real time. Extend abroad. Investments in gaming giants, Riot, Epic, social platforms, Discord, Reddit, electric vehicles, Tesla. Scenes of negotiation. Tencent offers capital and potential Chinese market access, but insists on minor stakes to avoid overt takeover, maintaining an appearance of distance. Yet subtle influence emerges: board seats, data insights, cross-promotion opportunities. Narration highlights moral tension. Is this fueling innovation or stifling competition? Smaller startups may welcome Tencent's backing, but risk being absorbed into a monolithic ecosystem. Illustrate gaming synergy. Riot's League of Legends thrives. Tencent fosters mobile spin-offs in China. Global players notice increased microtransactions. Controversies swirl over perceived greed. Yet Tencent rationalizes. We provide resources and scale. Monetization strategies reflect market realities. The narrator questions, but when profit motives overshadow creative vision, what is lost? Also cover investments beyond tech, e-commerce, cloud services, fintech. Tencent's cloud division mirrors AWS, but leverages domestic dominance. Internationally, cloud for foreign companies remains limited by data sovereignty concerns. Investments diversify risk but also spread Tencent's footprint, raising eyebrows. Does owning slices of multiple global stars grant undue sway over industries and culture? Conclude with tension. Tencent's investment web secures vast influence without building every product itself. But this quiet control invites scrutiny. Regulators fear data sharing, anti-monopoly actions loom, and public perceives hidden strings. The empire grows, but under watch. What happens when even this strategy collides with political forces?
The state strikes back, government crackdown. For years, Tencent enjoyed relative freedom under a tacit pact: expand and innovate but align with state interests. Now, that pact frays. This chapter dramatizes the sudden reversal. Regulators clamp down, reshaping the landscape as if a colossus is finally tethered. Open on headlines: new gaming limits imposed, minors banned from excessive play, approvals for new titles halted. Panic ripples through Tencent's corridors. A core revenue stream stalls overnight. Narration intensifies. Imagine building an empire on gaming, only to have authorities freeze approvals, deeming games a threat to youth. Stock prices tumble. Executives scramble for compliance. Describe forced changes. Popular shooter games rebranded as patriotic simulators, blood replaced by green effects. Recognition systems verify identities and enforce playtime caps. Tencent. Designers implement facial recognition. Police databases verify users. The narrator's voice reflects dismay. A beloved pastime morphs into propaganda instrument. Creativity bows to political decree. Simultaneously, anti-monopoly investigations sweep through major tech firms including Tencent. Enormous fines imposed. Lofty valuations shrink. The storyline recalls Jack Ma's abrupt fall, once celebrated entrepreneurs now cautious. Pony Ma, historically cooperative, finds himself under scrutiny. Even obedience cannot guarantee safety. Narration evokes tension. In a twist of fate, the very power Tencent amassed now alarms the state. Big is no longer better. Beneath the party's gaze, unlimited expansion threatens centralized control. Explore motivations. Prosperity for all. Rhetoric demands tech giants share wealth. Data security concerns justify tighter oversight. Social stability prioritized over corporate might. Tencent adjusts. Layoffs occur. Internal speeches emphasize discipline. projects ruthlessly vetted for ideological alignment. The narrator paints a mood of unease. Teams that once raced to launch features now navigate red tape, ambitions tempered by fear that misstep invites censure. Global investments feel the chill too. Cross-border initiatives stall as foreign regulators and domestic edicts intersect. Tencent faces a paradox. Diversify abroad to reduce domestic dependence, yet domestic regulators restrict capital outflows. The narrator asks, how can Tencent chart a course when the state both nurtures and curbs, when yesterday's partner becomes today's challenger? Conclude with reflection. Tencent's saga demonstrates that in China's ecosystem, even the mightiest enterprise remains subordinate to political currents. The empire built on convenience and data must now recalibrate under new rules. As values shift and oversight deepens, can Tencent adapt without losing its innovative edge? The closing chapter peers into this uncertain future.
Future uncertain, riding the next wave under watchful eyes. We arrive at a crossroads. Tencent stands colossal yet constrained. This final chapter contemplates what lies ahead, new frontiers of technology, evolving state demands, and the tension between innovation and control. Begin by recapping. From a humble clone chat to global investment titan, Tencent leveraged agility, data, and capital to build a sprawling ecosystem. Yet the recent crackdown underscores a lesson. No enterprise, however vast, escapes the political climate it inhabits. Now, Tencent must navigate fresh terrain under vigilant oversight. Set a scene of possibility. Emerging technologies, metaverse, AI, cloud computing, blockchain, beckon. Tencent's strengths align: gaming expertise for immersive virtual worlds, social platforms for connected experiences, cloud infrastructure for scale, AI capabilities for personalization. Narration evokes optimism. Could Tencent pioneer the next paradigm, crafting China's metaverse under homegrown guidelines? Might AI-driven services redefine social interaction? Yet immediately layer caution. But every innovation must pass ideological filters. A metaverse with free discourse risks censorship. AI tools require alignment with official narratives. The line between creativity and compliance narrows. International ambitions also beckon. Partnerships in entertainment, tech collaborations, esports tournaments, but geopolitical winds blow cold. Narration addresses dilemmas. Global expansion demands navigating data sovereignty, user trust, regulatory barriers. Apps that work seamlessly in one system falter under another's scrutiny. Tencent's past investments offer footholds, yet influence must remain subtle, avoiding overt control clues that trigger pushback. Internally, corporate culture may shift. After intense 996 eras and moments of fierce rivalry, now stability and risk management rise in priority. The narrator paints a portrait. Engineers once racing for features now balance innovation with red team reviews, ensuring political acceptability. Product roadmaps include compliance checkpoints. Will this environment stifle the very creativity that fueled Tencent's ascent? The audience feels the tension. Can a company innovate when every step must satisfy both market demands and ideological vetting? Consider alternative paths, focusing on niche breakthroughs less likely to rouse state suspicion. Health tech aligned with public goals, education platforms under guidance, green technology integrated with national priorities. Narration suggests Tencent can align innovation with social objectives, building goodwill while exploring new fields. Yet the specter of sudden policy shifts looms. What if state priorities change unexpectedly? Conclude on a reflective note. Tencent's journey exemplifies triumph and trial. A modest chat clone transformed into a digital leviathan shaping billions of lives, yet always under watchful eyes. The next chapter remains unwritten. Will Tencent continue to surf waves of technology within acceptable bounds? Or will tensions between ambition and control spark upheavals? For users and observers alike, Tencent's fate illuminates broader questions. In a world craving seamless digital experiences, how much freedom are we willing to surrender? And who truly holds the reins of tomorrow's technologies? end with a call to thought. As we ponder Tencent's path, we also reflect on our own digital choices. Do we embrace convenience at the cost of autonomy? The future unfolds,